Hey there, I'm Etienne. I'm the co-founder of iLights. So my co-founder and I, Ludo, we're really into productivity. Since we're getting ready to launch a big product next month, we need to become really efficient. So we try and find ways to gain an edge, gain momentum this year. So I'm going to share 5 different experiments that I'm doing this year and that you can try if you wish to become more productive, more efficient. So the first experiment is routines. So I manage highlights, but I also manage the business around my book, Lean B2B. It takes a lot of time, and there's a lot of different moving parts, different tasks that I need to do for the various business lines. So what I've introduced is what I call routines, which are step-by-step list of things that I need to do when I'm tackling a certain problem. So one thing, for example, that I'm doing is I'm going to evaluate the performance of my emails. So I have step one, look at the performance in GA, Google Analytics. Step two, look at MailChimp. Step three, look at my opt-in form. Step four, do this. And by having those steps listed, I get to it shortcuts thinking. So it doesn't force me to use my memory as much. So it allows me to just remain really focused on the task at hand. And that has actually saved me a lot of time, makes me a lot more efficient when I'm working. Plus, if I need to improve the routine, I'm improving those steps. I'm not thinking every time like, oh, how can I do this better? How can I improve this? So it keeps me focused, allows me to gain more momentum when I'm doing the task. And so far, it's been really helpful. Number two, audiobooks. So I read more or less 12 to 14 books a year, most of them being business or like more nonfiction books. And my thinking is that if I am getting into audiobooks, I'll be able to increase my velocity in terms of reading. So be able to read more, maybe read faster at least. And so far this year, I've read 3 audiobooks, and each of them took me more or less 2 hours, 2 days, 2 weeks to read. So this means that it's taking me half the time that it used to take me to read a book. Uh, I'm starting to use Audible, which is actually quite interesting because their business model is it's subscription, so $15 a month, and then you get one book, which actually comes out to it's actually cheaper than buying Kindle books or getting paperback books. So that's also interesting in there. I'm not sure this will allow me to retain as much of the information or of the content of the book. So I'll be able to evaluate that a little bit later during the year. But so far, the in terms of efficiency, it's a lot better. Number three, stories. It turns out like every day I'm adding content to Pocket. I'm bookmarking websites. I'm reading content, and a lot of that content is actually not useful right now. So there's a lot of content that's actually stories. So it's the way other people did things, and that does not necessarily affect my work, the way I do my work. So an article that is like, this is how Amazon did this, and then they got that result, or this is how Gary Vaynerchuk did this, and he's planning to get that result. So those don't really affect the way I work. When I'm working, I want to be focused on content that is very problem specific. So if I am working to optimize my emails, I want to read content that is specifically around that topic. If I'm working on the way we do retention, I want to look at that specifically. So I'm kind of switching the way I categorize content in a way that allows me to focus on problem specific or topic specific content. And then when I have some spare time, I can look at the other type of content, stories that are more for entertainment purpose. Number four, reutilizing content that I create. So every day we create a lot of content. So we write emails. So there's different greetings, there's different thank yous, there's different meeting invitations, there's different this, different that. Talk to people on Twitter, you tweet this, you write this on LinkedIn. So there's a lot of content that we create that can be reused. So I started using an app called Text Expander. It's available on Mac, might be available on PC. Um, And basically what it does, it allows you to create short codes that populates information. So if you, for example, if I'm typing LINEN, so that's LinkedIn English, it will populate a greeting message for LinkedIn. So that allows me to very quickly respond to people, interact with people on social media, send emails. So instead of spending 2-3 minutes writing custom email to someone, now it takes me 30 seconds. So I've saved a lot of time. Plus, this tool being installed on a computer actually looks at the type of content that we're creating and suggests automations, which allows me to get even more efficient over time. Number 5, mood tracking. So there's this great saying that goes on and says, if we observe it, we change it. So the idea is to be able to track the way I feel, the way I behave, the way I act every day, and be able to make assessments based on that. So every day I have 5 different questions that I try and answer before going to bed. So how did I feel? Like, what was my mood? How did I feel physically? How did I feel about my book business, my book sales? How did I feel about my startup highlights? How did I feel about my side projects as well? And then I'll give myself a grade, 1, 2, or 3. And then over time, I'm able to see the trends. I'm able to assess whether I'm performing better, whether I'm fluctuating, my performance is fluctuating, or I'm very even keel. So it allows me to make more objective assessment by looking at these subjective day-to-day assessments, because you never want to be making decisions or changes in your life based on just one day, or like, today I'm in a bad mood, so I'm going to change everything. I'm going to start doing this, stop that. You want to get more data, more input, and it also helps me stabilize some behavior. So if I know I'm not feeling really good about my side project, I might approach it differently. I might change my strategy. I might find ways to interact better or change the way I behave. So this allows me to remain focused on changing the behaviors that most affect my productivity. So those were the 5 experiments. I'm Etienne. I'm the co-founder of Highlights. We're getting ready to launch a tool that helps find and prioritize the biggest optimization opportunities from your marketing data automatically. Feel free to add in the comments some of the productivity experiments that you are running, and I look forward to catching you again.